I just went from this to this in under 35 minutes. Not everyone has an hour and a half to spend on their wash day. So what do you do when you need to wash and style your curls and get out the door or get to bed? Stay tuned to see the fastest curly hair routine simplified. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Gina and I make videos all about naturally curly hair. I love doing these simplified step-by-step routines. I love helping you problem solve with your curls and just helping everyone embrace the curls that they have and feeling great with their natural texture. So let's dive in. Starting off with shampoo and conditioner, I'm using the Umberto Giannini Curl Jelly Wash Curl Defining Shampoo and their Frizz Conditioner. This is a great drugstore option, very affordable, solid shampoo and conditioner. I am going to be timing myself with my phone because I want to see how quick I can do this routine. So I'm kind of on a race trying to move quickly. I'm first wetting my hair down. I actually really don't like washing my hair upside down, but I wanted to be able to film it a little bit easier for you all. But my hair is just so tangly that it just ends up in a matted mess when I try to do this upside down. So I'm first actually going to go in with conditioner, and I like to do my conditioner first because of what I just mentioned of how tangly my hair is. If your hair gets matted up and just turns into a big wad of tangles when you shampoo, definitely try using your conditioner first. This will save you so much time. It's so much easier to really get down to your scalp and actually scrub and cleanse your hair when you don't have the tangles in the way. And then you're not making the tangles worse, because if you have tangled hair, which you usually do by the end of the week when it's time for a wash, why would you go in and just tangle it up even more with shampoo? That doesn't really make sense. So I highly recommend conditioning first. And if you don't want to condition first, use a little bit of oil or something first to detangle. So I'm just working through the knots with my hands. It's so much better to use your hands. You don't want to rip through knots with your brushes. That's just going to make so much more breakage. It might be faster, but it's only faster with a brush because you're ripping through the knots. So use your hands, work very slowly. For this step, you don't want to rush the detangling, especially if you have really fragile hair like I do. Now I'm going in with the Umberto Giannini Curl Jelly Shampoo. I love how this shampoo actually lathers. If you're not using a shampoo that lathers, it's just going to take so much longer to cleanse your hair, because if you use something like a co-wash, you feel like you have to repeatedly cleanse your hair multiple times. A shampoo is just so much faster. If you do have hair with a lot of buildup, or if you're someone that gets a lot of oil in your scalp, you might want to try double cleansing, which is just where you shampoo twice, because the first round of shampoo can get rid of the oils and stuff, and then the second round can better get down and actually really deeply cleanse your scalp. Just wanted to throw that out there. I just did one time here because I felt like the cleanser did a really great job. The shampoo was lathering up great and I didn't have a ton of buildup. Now I'm using my conditioner again, and yes, I do still condition after I shampoo, even though I did detangle with it before, and that's because you do need conditioner after to lower back down your cuticle, because when you are shampooing, that is raising the cuticle of your hair, raising the pH of your hair, and you need to lower that back down with conditioner, which then lowers your pH back down, which smooths frizz. And I also get a little bit more tangles as I'm shampooing, and I have a lot of loose hairs come out just from shedding and scrubbing my scalp, so I still need to use conditioner afterwards. So I'm just raking that through. It's so much easier to get my hands through my hair now that I have used that conditioner and everything. It's just so much better. Definitely need to be conditioning. Do not skip this step. After I finish rinsing out my conditioner, I then place my hair in my hair towel. Highly recommend a hair towel if you don't already have one. You don't want to be using a regular bath towel on your curls. It causes so much frizz. For my styling products, I'm going to use a curl cream and a gel. I highly recommend using both of these, or if you just wanted to use one product, I would go with using a gel like the Dad gel. This is a moisturizing gel. It's a stronghold gel, so it's going to keep the curls intact longer, so you have to do a little refreshing and in turn saving time. I'm just sharing some of the tools that I'm going to be using, clips and a brush. So I'm going to start my timer. I've so far spent about 10 minutes on my hair washing it, and I'm hoping to only spend about 15 minutes styling max, if that, or maybe even less. So I'm spraying my hair down with some water. You do want your hair to be good and wet when you're applying your styling products. You can't apply styling products to hair that is starting to dry, because then you'll just end up with frizz. This is the Bounce Curl Clump and Define Cream. This is going to help provide your hair with moisture, also help clump your curls, and just help start to style them. I like having a cream base first, especially in the winter when my hair is very dry. A little goes a long way with this. You'll see when I kind of emulsify it in my hands, you get that really creamy white consistency, so that way you can keep spreading it throughout your hair. So it's nice, you only need to use a little bit. So I just rake this through my hair entirely. I kind of smooth over the very frizzy areas and make sure the ends are really good and covered. And then I do like to comb it through just to make sure every single strand is coated with this curl cream to make sure that it's evenly moisturized. You don't want to have areas that end up frizzy and dry. So by brushing it through, I'm evenly distributing it, and I'm not going to ruin my curls by doing this because I'm going to do some styling afterwards. So now I'm just creating only about 2 to 3 sections. You don't have to apply your gel in sections if you want to save time, but I personally think that I get much better results. I end up with more even coverage because every strand is getting coated with gel, even up to the roots, which helps me with frizz protection and also keeps my curls lasting longer. Anytime I just rake in products without sectioning, I always end up with these weird areas that are creating frizz that's kind of poking through from underneath. So this just gives me a lot more coverage, and I'm still working pretty quickly, and you'll see that I do less sections when I'm in a hurry like this as opposed to a more, detailed routine. I might do more sections. And I'm also not really doing any brush styling. I'm trying to not brush style too much anyways, just to keep my hair a lot healthier. I'm just using a wet brush, which is a very flexible brush. It just gives a small amount of tension to create a little bit of curl definition, but really not much tension at all. And then I'm just even breaking up some of those curls even more because I really like to maintain some fullness, so I don't want to do too much clumping. So the reason I went with this Ouidad gel is because it's so long lasting for me. I get pretty strong hold with this, and if you apply it to hair that is too wet, you're gonna end up with less hold. So if you're struggling getting a cast with this gel, you might be using too much water in your hair. My hair is really just towel dried, and then I spritz the lengths of my hair. You do want your curls to dry down with a cast, that crunchy feeling. That's gonna keep them lasting out a lot longer, and then you can just scrunch it out. You don't have to go around with crunchy curls. You can totally scrunch it out, but this gel in particular, it doesn't frizz up right away when I scrunch out the gel cast. I still have hold in my hair, the curls still stay intact, and I can scrunch out the cast. So that in turn is helping my hair last longer and saving me time. So whenever I need a good, reliable routine that I know is gonna last me, I have to do very minimal refreshing, if any at all, then I usually go with these products. I wanted to use some more affordable products for this routine, but honestly, I have yet to find a drugstore gel that lasts as long as this. I'm on the hunt, so if you know of a good affordable gel that is very strong hold, moisturizing, lasts a long time, and easy to refresh with, please let me know down below. So you'll notice that I am doing a little bit more brush styling in the front section, and that's just because these curls for me need a little bit more attention. I have a lot more frizz here, I have a lot of regrowth coming in, and I also have grays on one side of my head in the front section, and doing a little bit more fine-tuned styling like this really helps to tuck those grays into curl clumps. It helps prevent frizz, and it really just helps this area last longer because the front section gets a lot more wear and tear throughout the day. So this does save me time. Even though I am spending a little bit more time on the front section, it's gonna help me a lot throughout the week. So I'm just doing a little bit of finger coiling, some scrunching, and also the brush does help to kind of tuck away some of that frizz. So if you're struggling with frizz, try a little bit more precise styling. I know it does take a little bit of extra time, but for me it's worth it in those problem areas. But I'm not doing my entire head, just that front section. Then I'm just going around and scrunching. I like to kind of break up some of those sections because I don't want the sections to show. And also my scalp keeps showing in the back, so I'm just using my brush to kind of direct the hair back over it. And then I'm using my hair towel to scrunch out some of the excess water. This is probably the biggest takeaway I feel like you should take away from this video, is to use a hair towel before you diffuse if you want to cut down on your dry time. This is going to significantly reduce the amount of time that your hair is drying because it's soaking up that excess water. Now, if you're worried that you're absorbing product, you might be, so you might have to go in with a light glaze of gel afterwards. Usually I will do that, especially on frizzy areas. I'll go around and scrunch with this hair towel, and then I'll go back in with just a little bit of gel mixed with water to dilute it some, and then just smooth over frizzy pieces. For me, it's usually the front section and like the canopy of my hair that tends to get pretty frizzy. So I'm just smoothing that over and I'm good to go and start diffusing. So we are at 23 minutes, and that is with washing and styling, ready to start diffusing. Pause this video, comment down below, and let me know how long you think it's gonna take me to diffuse. Do you think that I can do this in under 30 minutes? Let me know. But I'm going to be using my Curlsmith Diffusion Diffuser. And the reason that I like this one so much, especially when I'm in a hurry, is because it dries my hair so fast because of the very large diffuser head. See how it's covering like an entire half of my head at once? So I'm basically drying my whole side of my head at once, which saves me a lot of time. So I can diffuse pretty quickly with this. I usually use the highest heat setting and the lowest airflow setting, but I've also been experimenting more with using the higher airflow setting, the higher speed setting, and less heat, just so that the air can reach my roots a lot better with a little bit more power behind it. So sometimes I am turning up the speed a little bit, but I don't want to cause frizz, so I usually don't turn up the speed much more than medium at max. I rarely will use the high speed just because I don't want to blow the hair everywhere. Also, you might be wondering, why are you taking time to diffuse? If you're in a hurry, can't you just air dry and go out the door? The reason that I recommend diffusing, well, there's many reasons. For one, I get way better results. It sets the gel cast, I get less frizz, and I have much more volume. But my hair is going to be done when I'm ready to leave. Whereas when you air dry, you have to wait hours for your hair to dry. So if you have to run out the door after you finish styling your hair, you have to walk around with your hair looking wet and crunchy and not finished for however long it takes your hair to dry. Now, maybe that's just your drive to work and it's dry by the time you get there and it's totally fine. But for me, I don't want to go out with my hair looking wet. I feel like it's not done, and then I have to worry about how it's going to look once it is dry, and it might not turn out the way that I like it, and I'm already out. So at least with diffusing, your hair is completely done when you are done styling your hair, and you can see how it's going to look, so you can tweak it, you can, add some more gel if you end up with some frizz after diffusing, whereas if you're already out, it is what it is. So you have more control over how your hair is going to turn out when you diffuse. You're able to scrunch up the curls more if you want to get more shrinkage and more curl definition. You can get more volume. Whereas when you air dry, you're just dependent on how it's drying. So it's drying in a more weighed down state. Your curls are gonna be weighed down. You're gonna have less volume at the root because of that gravity. And I usually end up with a lot more frizz too when I air dry because of the wind, the movement, friction against my clothing. It's just more susceptible to ruining your curls or getting frizzy while it's wet. And so if you're touching it and stuff while you're air drying, you're gonna end up with more frizz. So I want to just get it dry as fast as possible and be done with my hair. So that's why I diffuse. All in all, it takes me under 10 minutes or under 15 minutes to diffuse. So it's not that bad. And my hair is very low density, so keep that in mind. It's gonna take people a lot longer to diffuse if they do have higher density hair. I have a lot less hair than a lot of people, so it doesn't take me as long. Also, my different techniques that I use, like micro plopping, damp styling versus wet styling, all of that contributes to a shortened dry time. If I style my hair soaking wet, it's gonna take me 20 minutes plus to diffuse my hair. So we are currently at about 28 minutes and my hair is almost completely dry. I could totally just leave it like this and go, and if I was in a hurry, I probably would. That's another thing I wanted to recommend to you all. If you are in a pinch but you still want to diffuse, you can diffuse for just 5 minutes or 10 minutes and then let it finish air drying. But at least let the diffuser set your curls into place so that way their shape is set and you're good to go. And then you can finish air drying and it should still retain its shape. Here I'm just showing you these clips that I have been using recently from Curl Keeper. These really help give me a lot of root lift and volume. So sometimes I will put them in towards the end of my diffusing routine, or I will put them in once my hair is completely finished drying and it's finishing setting and cooling off, and then I'll take them out at the end and I will scrunch out the gel cast. If you are washing and styling at night and need to go to bed, then I recommend leaving the gel cast in and skipping this step right here where I'm using a little bit of oil. Leave that cast in and go ahead and put your hair up in a bonnet. You can sleep on a satin pillowcase or silk pillowcase. Highly recommend doing that to protect your curls. And then you can scrunch out the gel cast in the morning. That way the curls stay protected with that cast in. So skip this step if you're doing this at night. Go to bed with your hair crunchy, but make sure that you get it completely dry. Don't go to bed with wet hair. So after that, if you still feel any wet areas, you might want to just go in with your diffuser. Sometimes I will do that, and that will also just help to break up the cast even more. You can use your diffuser to break the gel cast if you want to, and I always get a little boost of volume too when I do this, so I just do that for a couple more minutes and I am good to go. So we came in at under 35 minutes with this entire routine. That is from start to finish: shampooing, washing, conditioning, styling, diffusing, all of it under 35 minutes. So I was really pleased with how this wash day routine turned out with minimal effort. This is definitely the fastest I think that I have styled my curls. And when I am in even more of a hurry, sometimes I will not even diffuse all the way and just let my curls set the rest of the way and then finish scrunching out the crunch once it's completely dry. This is the fastest that I am able to style my curls, but I don't want you all to feel bad at all if your hair routine does take a lot longer than about 30 minutes. If your hair is thicker than mine or if it's more damaged, it's going to take longer to style your curls. But you should keep in mind that this is something that you should not be doing every single day. This is for a wash day routine, and for me, I usually do that about twice a week, and I usually spend a little bit more time on my curls on the weekend. That's when I clarify and I deep condition. And if you do spend a little bit more time actually styling your curls, then they will last a lot longer throughout the week, which should save you time on refreshing and keep your curls intact, because if you can just wake up with curls that are already ready to go and you don't have to refresh, then that's going to save you a lot of time. If you're having a hard time drying your curly hair faster and if diffusing takes you forever, then I recommend watching the video that I have linked right here on the screen. It's all about how to reduce your dry time, and I go into lots more tips and tricks on how to cut down on the amount of time that your curls take to finish drying. So I will talk to you over there. Bye everyone.